Luckily, this is live.
There's
We
no way.
have taken the Twitch delay off and instead put it on OBS, which I haven't actually tested before with OBS, but hopefully it works. So in 3 minutes, we'll see. Yay! Until then, we're just going to cast the game. Leave all the other fluff to maybe when the stream is actually up. This is obviously going very poorly, whatever attack this was from Bexby. Oh no.
Oh dear. Alright, well luckily, despite the stream hiccups, not a lot actually happened this game. Like, that is actually the first piece of action to go down. So, luckily for you guys tuning in, you didn't miss much, just slow openers.
Yeah.
I had some amazing segues, though, that I'm really disappointed didn't make it to the cast.
Yeah, you did. I'm so sorry about that.
Not just segues, but theorems and theories. And discussions were had, and unfortunately none shall be heard.
Never again. So this might just be game over for Terran.
Nah. I don't know, he actually has a lot at the top of the ramp. It's not a lot of Ravagers, it is just Roaches, but the Deepos are down, he's gonna pull the SCVs. I don't know if this is what you want to do when your ranged units are out of range.
I think with the SCVs that Bexby will be fine, but there are reinforcements coming in. The Roaches have upgrades, Bexby doesn't even have combat shields. More Ravagers coming in here. I think this is going to either end the game or be so crippling that the game will eventually end in Spectrum's favor. But now using the SCV is definitely going to lose this fight then. Oh
yeah,
no.
that army supply just growing further and further apart.
Yeah, that's game. Even with this one tank, I mean, like, you can make it that all day long, but it's not going to take out so many Roaches. 15 Roaches, 6 Ravagers. More coming along here. And that's going to be the first game.
Okay, so let's go back to some points we were talking about beforehand.
No.
Where did the phrase collegiate... Okay, GG. But okay, let's bring up this topic. Because I would love to hear the educated people involved with the CSL explain themselves as ace reporter Rifkin covers the topic of the phrase collegiate. Where did this phrase come from? It seems like a completely unnecessary phrase considering college works in every adjective, noun, and verb spot collegiate otherwise would. Why need to fancy up the word, and why need to distinguish it from the rest? And furthermore, why does collegiate, obviously a derivative of college, cover everything including universities, when everything I've been led to believe is universities are actually better than colleges, if not just higher up on that tier scale?
Okay, so this reminded me of a conversation I had with my mom. That why is there such a fancy word for sexist? Chauvinism. Like she called one of her coworkers a chauvinist, and I was like, I have not heard that in a while.
But okay, in fairness though, sexist is actually a phrase that can be applied either way. Chauvinism exclusively applies to men.
No, it doesn't. I looked it up in the dictionary.
I have never in context ever heard chauvinist used like
yeah,
for women.
But there's the whole argument about sexism, going both ways too. But then there's also another word for that was misogyny and misandry. So why is it a fancy word of chauvinism?
Miss Andry, that was my collegiate professor. She taught us about ethics.
Oh hey, the stream's actually up. What's up?
Fantastic.
All right,
well,
hello.
We are one game in, and believe it or not, guys, Florida's beating Florida.
Oh, what the? Oh no.
What in the fuck?
I guess we gotta do the whole spiel of the intro over again then. So I'm gonna go quickly put up this gamed one slide up. So here we go. You can see there's actually a giveaway. First and foremost, I suppose. You can go to Asus. Oh god, now I'm saying it. No.
Like multiple of the ace card would be aces.
Oh my god. Aces.cstarleague.com for details. But basically what they want you to do is highlight or cast or just make a fun video about your college team in the CSL and send it to them, and you can win a laptop. Second place and third place, I think, gets really baller monitors. So definitely check that out. And then we go into all of the tournament standings and who's actually facing each other today. So I do have to get to the lobby set up for the next 1v1, but it is
Very
University of Florida versus University of Central Florida. A very distinct difference.
I've set up a Twitter poll to help settle this debate.
Oh?
How do you pronounce ASUS? Aces or Azus?
Jesus. Jesus.
Azus! Light!
What's up? Get out of here.
I'm just saying, it's a silly debate. Like, this isn't even something.
It's not
in
a
my mind.
debate, really.
Like,
it was
it doesn't
never a
even seem
debate.
it doesn't even seem like there should be a second option to this. Is what I'm saying. Like, that's how silly this is to me.
Oh, I agree.
The Twitter pulls up. You guys can help us decide this dilemma, as it is a sponsor we'll probably have to reference several times. And I am fairly certain it's Aces.
I'm going with Aces.
Oh, toity toy! We've got the Irish lad coming in for Florida. Coming
Toity
up
toy,
against
toity
Blast.
Yeah. So, oh shoot.
Because they're both Florida.
Okay, so, University of Central Florida is up 1, thanks to Spectrum. So Blast is up 1-0. Yeah.
All right, Central Florida, best Florida, from what I understand.
Sure.
That's what I've heard from all the ladies that came from that part of the country.
Yeah, I have no strong opinions. In the bottom left on Lairlac Crest as the purple Zerg, he is Blast. Fix this. Oh no, I can't fix it. Never mind. It's as good as that's gonna get. That's gonna bother me.
Well, his opponent coming from Ireland in the top left. Hoity-toity, it's the Irish lad. The fighting alligators.
Okay, so the team name, by the way, for the University of Central Florida, so Blast team, is Shi-T Memes. Now safe for work.
Ah.
Aha.
I think they come from Sheep Ha Town.
Also, I actually know Blast, not, exactly personally, as internet StarCraft friends go, but, he was a, contender, participant, whatever you want to call it, for the never-released CSN, what do you actually call it? Like, tournament? Not exactly. But basically that training league thing, whatever they called. That never really happened between Bolt and Violet. That actually was a thing, believe it or not, and I was in it. I have no qualms talking about it, despite their repeated attempts to restart it, because I'm convinced it's never happening. So it's out there.
Blast, if this is the right Blast, I may be thinking of a different one, right? But I think this is the guy that came to Hell Speed Time, right?
Did he?
Yeah, brown guy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
This completely mixed up with somebody else.
He did. Yeah.
So, on that merit alone, I am cheering for him. And the fact that his team's up 1-0 definitely helps that bias.
Well, he did message me, saying that get ready to see me get wrecked by a GM Terran. So there's that. By the way, he used to be Terran, so that's why he was on Team Pult.
Oh my gosh. I'm really mad that this Twitter poll has 56% saying it's Azus.
I told you, like, Europeans say it that way.
Europeans! I'm sorry, there's a reason North America left you
More
behind
like Europeans, am I right?
Yeah, European. Work. Ready to be wrong.
But I swear I wasn't making that up, alright?
No, I should just think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard someone say that at like a DreamHack cast or something.
Yeah, and I just like, I think it sounds too fancy.
I think that sounds silly. It's like the word collegiate. Why? There's just no reason. Just say it as college.
And chauvinistic, man. Chauvinistic. The first time I heard the word chauvinistic, I thought it was a good thing. I don't know, it just sounds fancy, you know?
It does, right? Like, oh, he was very chauvinistic. He held the door open for her. Like, that doesn't sound like a sexist argument until you realize...
When you talk about women's suffrage, and you're like, I don't support that. I don't want women to suffer.
Yes, exactly. Women's suffrage is the worst thing. You should never make another human being suffrage. Unless they're going to pay... the collegiate bills for tuition.
Misconceptions with Salmi Grubman Rifkin. Field reporters.
We would be the greatest field reporters. Running it for the Providence of British Columbia. Straight up for the collegiate Starly. Alright. Lings are, of course, being dealt with by the Oyurslad, and this isn't anything Blast is really dedicated to. But my jokes about bias on race aside here, we have seen a lot of games where Zerg players who play certain styles have been struggling in all leagues. And if Blast is aiming, I'm not saying he is yet, he's not really dedicated to tech path, and that alone is a problem. But if he is going Mutas, if he's going Banelings, if he's going Zerglings, he might just struggle because it is some of the top tier players that are barely pulling that style off nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have been paranoid about Liberators, which actually are coming right now, so I guess it's a fair paranoia, but unless you can really follow through to the transition, whether it is going into Mutilating Bling or transitioning off into Roaches, that's where things get really difficult, especially if you're already pretty nervous about this game. It looks like it is going to be Mutilating Bling too, with the Banelings coming down. A lot of Lings, probably just to fend off the Hellions. Unfortunately, these are not used to doing a lot in Legacy of the Void. They're usually just going to suicide in at some point, but if Blast miscontrols his Lings, they'll certainly get a lot of freebies. Oh, but Irish Lad, he gets a little bold. Those Lings were ready. They pounce on him. A lot of his army goes down. Cleans it all up eventually, but that's only 3 Hellions left over. You have a full wall. Of course, this is new Lairlac Crest, so there's walls already over here, so it actually makes sense to put one here and now. It is going to be that Spire. The Liberator is already in the main base, but it's been chewed off, actually, by a Spore Crawler, so this is some nice handling without that Spire. It's obviously going to really push away the Liberators, but I'm interested to see how Blast is going to control the mid-game, because that's usually where the hardest portion of this game is going to go for the Zerg player who chooses to go for Mutilating Bling.
Oh lord, there's a considerable amount of Americans tweeting at me that it's Asus, like Dr. Seuss, like Asus. I'm disappointed and upset now. There's no way it's pronounced Asus! It's gotta be Asus! There's just no way! I'm just gonna say it. Asus seems retarded to me. I know that's not an okay phrase to say, but that's how ridiculous it is in my mind.
I love that this is actually something that's going to be, like, heated, though. Like, forget politics, forget, like, the GOP or whatever going on right now, like...
At this point, if I'm completely wrong, I'm going to point out, like, if the CEO of Asus came to me and said, hey, by the way, it's pronounced Asus, I'd be like, no, you're fucking stupid. You're like the guy who made GIF and tried to say, don't worry, guys, it's pronounced GIF.
Oh my god. I had to talk with my friends about that at dinner another day, but we actually have a drop that's doing a fair amount of damage covered by a Liberator. I think that we'd have to chalk up our Asus terminology, pronunciation, rather, with, you know, God, what was, Van-Eye, yeah.
By the way, they're totally cool people who are sponsoring this league, and big props to them.
Yeah, totally.
But, you know, we're sponsored by Corsair, so I can't really, can't really say too much
yeah.
about them.
You know, everyone was always giving us crap about Van-Eye, and we were like, fuck you.
You know, Van-Eye sounded so much cooler, though, like, real talk. That was a big part of why we stuck with that wrong pronunciation, because it sounded like this Van Nuys, the island.
Vonnie.
Cool.
Vonnie. Ew.
The Vonnie are a stupid race of people in Beowulf. Ugh.
Wait, why does Beowulf have races?
The shield lens, baby. Oh yeah.
I never watched the movie, but I read the book. Or whatever
the TV show is
it.
terrible. The TV show is like a Canadian production of Game of Thrones.
I feel like it's like Vikings, except a lot worse.
Okay, well, we did have Mutalisks and Banelings being selected as we kind of got a little bit goofy with the cast, but this attack on Irish Lad honestly seems manageable. This actually doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, Blast is only down by 6 army supply, and he does have creep spread on his side for this engagement, but actually misses what could have been a very good Baneling hits, uses the rest of his mutas, no Ling support, and that quickly turns the tide. Blast not looking so hot here. Probably going to go down and even up the score for the two teams.
This is what you get for
GG.
race GG.
That's true.
Should've just stuck with the best race in the game.
That's true. Polt would be very disappointed with you.
I mean, Terran won that game, so that proves, A, Terran's imba, please nerf the tanks, and then B, also that you should have stuck with the race.
I agree. That's going to send us into the 2v2 on an even score. That will take a little while to set up, as it's always the most complicated. Map's going to be Seething Jungle, as I recall.
And this is me being a wonderful co-caster reminding you about the overlay.
I remembered. Thank you.
Ah, there you go. Teamwork. I'm going to take credit, though. This is like, the gifts from both of us, even though you're the one who bought it.
So far, it's been that I forget to turn it off for the 1v1 the last 2 times. So I'll make sure to get that. It's going to be Veil, Havoc, and Juicy Fruit versus Fractal and Westwood.
As silly as we treat the CSL cast sometimes, I actually really enjoy the 2v2s every time we come here. I'm less thrilled about the Archon mode because, to be honest, being Archon mode players ourselves, it's a little bit disappointing sometimes. But the 2v2 I always find really interesting because no matter how good you are at 2v2, unless you specifically have some sort of cheese design like we saw some of the players do last year, it is just a scrap fest of imbalance, which is what's so wonderful about it. So no longer do you have to worry about particular timings because either A, your ally's sending you money, or B, your opponents have no idea what they're doing either. Like, it's this wonderful chaos. That's what I love about the 2v2 part of this.
It can be very fun. We saw a pretty good macro game, actually, in the first series on Tuesday, which was the first time we really saw a macro game. Everything else is based around can the Zerg deal damage or defend against the damage, because usually these two teams will always have a Zerg. They're not a necessity per se in 2v2, but the benefits of the early game they give the duo is usually worth it. Fractal and Westwood, actually. There you go. Havoc and Juicy Fruit.
Juicy fruit, it's gonna move ya. Take a stick, pull it out.
Is that actually the theme song?
Have you never heard the Juicy Fruit theme song? It's like
I guess
sung
not.
by Juicy Fruit song. It's like these two guys in like the. Oh my god. Hang on. Oh, I guess you probably can't play it on stream, huh?
I guess not. I love Juicy Fruit though. That is the okay. So I eat candy, or sorry, I eat gum like candy, and always I was like, isn't it like candy? But no, like seriously, like you chew it for like barely a minute and then you swallow it. Like that's how I eat gum, but especially Juicy Fruit. So I only buy it if I anticipate like, eating it in under like 30 minutes.
So I thought this was like a joke theme that they made up for this really silly commercial of like these guys in a cabin going skiing like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. This song apparently goes all the way back. This jingle goes all the way back to the 80s. Juicy fruit, it's gonna move ya. It's got a taste that gets right through ya.
The best was Mentos. I want to sing it, but I also don't. Yeah.
All I remember is the end. It'd be like Mentos, the fresh maker, and then like you point at the camera, I'd be like ding.
It was like a Mentos something.
Oh, fresh of something full of life. No.
Yes, right. Like I can't remember the lyrics, but I can definitely remember the jingle.
Okay, Mentos theme song lyrics. I've got you. I've got the Googles. Mentos theme song lyrics. All right. It doesn't matter what comes. Fresh goes better with life. With Mentos fresh and full
goes better.
of life.
That's right.
Nothing gets to you. Staying fresh and staying cool. Mentos fresh and full of life.
That is
fresh
too good.
Goes better. Mentos freshness. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life.
Mentos, the fresh maker. Yes, this is too good. We make it the VODs muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry, CSL, for getting the VODs muted for singing such excellent renditions of that copyright work. I would understand.
So good. So good. I just always love, like, see, that was, like, I feel like the first, like, white people being bad at things infomercial.
I know. No, Mentos is literally the definition of white people being bad at things. Because they never expected to be able to drop it in a Coke and create basically a bomb with it. Like, that's how bad white people were at creating candy.
Oh, it's supposed to be gum, too. And then they came out with the passion fruit flavors, which were definitely candy. Like, that was not gum at all. But you know what? We're in the game now. In the top right on Seething Jungle, as the purple Zerg, it is Fractal, and as the teal Terran, Westwood.
Oh, wasn't that like the Command & Conquer studio?
Yep. Indeedy.
Nailed. In the bottom left is gonna be the blue Zerg, Juicy Fruit. the Sean Connery gum of choice, and his teammate Havoc.
Right. So these are guys who are University of Florida. These guys up here, University of Central Florida. Luckily, these guys have been pretty consistent with having clan tags, so that's been quite helpful. Alright, so 2v2, we do have these players being Zerg Terran, so a mirror matchup of 2v2s. We do see a lot of random players in the CSL for 2v2 specifically because there is no stacking allowed, which is an odd rule, but that is their choice, so you can't have 2 Terrans on a team. But if you random, then there's, you know, that chance that you will get 2 Terrans on a team. There's also a chance that you'll get the worst race you've played ever, but that's a chance a lot of these guys are willing to take. Oh. Is he gonna try and wall this off? That would be...
That's ambitious.
Yeah,
If
ambitious.
anything. I mean, it's a single bunker, actually, but this is interesting because it will cover, like... It's not gonna stop a run by, it's not gonna stop a ton of lings, but it will deter from walking forward. However, not gonna be done in time, and Yellow Terran's got some Reapers to follow up on this, so this bunker is not gonna be an issue to run by for either of these two.
Yeah.
One Marine? No ma. No bueno.
So the earlier pool from Juicy Fruit is
Juicy
scary,
Fruit.
but that's a big reason as to why both teams usually have a Zerg player. Like they can provide the offense, and then the other Zerg player can provide the defense. So in this case, you know, Westwood's probably yelling at Fractal right now, like, "Hey, where's your Lings? Where's your Banelings? We gotta cover this." We also have Havoc going for multiple Reapers, which is a very good complementary unit in Legacy of the Void. You also could have gone with Hellions, which is a very powerful attack that existed in Heart of the Swarm. And, well, the University of Central Florida is not looking so hot here, losing their base right off the bat. The, excuse me, the score right now for the two teams is 1-1, so it's not so worrisome that they go down one, either one of them. But in terms of overall score, University of Florida is actually doing much worse than University of Central Florida. That's University of Florida 1-3, Central is 3-1.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just some smack talk in chat, but there was some discussion about how people don't think the UCF Central Florida has ever beat University of Florida in the CSL.
Oh.
That's coming from the fans. I know nothing about either of these teams other than that they are both from
Right?
Florida. Elephant graveyard of the United States, from what I understand.
A lot of old people do live there.
You mean go there to die? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very distinct differences between saying live there and...
But there's also, you know, Disney World, which is the greatest, so...
Well, this, madam, I do believe, has officially hit that, despite, ironically, living in a warm climate of Florida, snowballed out of proportion.
Yes, it definitely has. I think there was a lack of defense from the Zerg player, but you can't just blame Fractal here. Like, the ultimate goal is that he would hold off against early pushes or help, but it's a 2v2, you know? If you're being attacked by 2 people, then you should be defending at least somewhat with 2 people. And unfortunately, this just was a case of both of them dropping the ball in the early game defense.
Okay, I figured out how I want to do this with the Mentos song, alright?
Okay.
I'm going to replace Mentos with Star League, and just going to put the asterisk that we're talking about the CSL, because otherwise it's too many syllables, okay?
Okay.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better with life, with Star League fresh and full of life. Can't even do it. I can't do one more.
Oh, really? Because I was like bopping along to it. I was like totally ready.
It was good. It actually just like sounds like we're talking about Korean Star League, so I gotta think of a better way to do it for CSL. But CSL is 3 syllables. Collegiate doesn't work either.
That's all you, man. I'm not a songwriter.
Doesn't matter who plays. Kids are better in game. With Star League fresh and full. I can't. Nope, there's no way to fix this. It doesn't fit. I'm sorry, Star
It's
League.
not working.
Or I'm sorry, Collegiate Star League. This is not gonna happen, man.
We're gonna get into the Archon mode match now.
Yes. And because there is some confusion with the team names looking so similar, it is worth noting that Central Florida is the one that is down currently. So it's 2-1 in the favor of the other Florida. the non-Central Florida.
Yes.
Also, I just want to sing this Mentos theme song like all night now. Like, I do not want to do anything else. This has gotten in my head. This is like Smash Mouth. Someone starts singing All Star, and you're just done.
Hey now. No, stop. Okay. I'm not.
Show on.
Nope. Stop.
Get
Nope.
paid.
Nope.
Hey
Mistake.
now,
Made a
you're
mistake.
an all-star. Get your game on. Go play, and all that glitters is gold. Only
Stop
shooting
getting the pawns
stars
muted.
break the mold.
Swear. With all the karaoke aside, I do want to pay special notes to the giveaway that is now happening for the CSL. So really cool giveaway. You can win a laptop or a monitor, pretty nice monitor. All you have to do is go to the websites, aces.cstarleague.com, and check out what you have to do. So the TLDR is that you basically make a video, funny, serious, a cast, a highlight, whatever you want about your college team for the CSL, and you submit it. And if you get first place, then you win a pretty baller laptop. And that's all thanks, of course, to the sponsor of the CSL, Asus. And
make sure you check safe while I join the lobby.
okay.
I think we'll be okay because it's like a first time thing, but now we know the rules.
Okay, you're in here now. So
Yep.
Blast just needed 1 sec. Say when ready.
So, Archon mode coming up next. For those who aren't familiar with the CSL, the format of this is a little bit different. You have each university basically fielding a team. Said team actually plays this in a very team league format. You've got 2 1v1s, a 2v2, and an Archon mode. And if for whatever reason this ties up, the ace match goes back to being a simple 1v1. It's kind of cool because it gets to explore a lot of different leagues and formats, but I do feel that the Archon mode one always seems to fall a little bit flat because, and I'm very confident saying this, I don't believe anyone actually practices for this, which is unfortunate because Archon mode can be one of the best parts of Starcraft 2, in all sincerity.
Yep. Okay, well, we're ready to go. Dusk Towers will be the Archon match map, and Blast and Fractal do need to bring it back for their team here.
Now, of course, Blast is unfortunately still not playing Terran in this situation, so... Gosh darn it, I'm still gonna root for him, Zombie Grub. He came to hell, it's about time!
Well, this guy's Protoss, so it's easier, right? Right?
Well, actually, for Zerg, depending on if you're Scarlet or not, that may be the case.
Well, in the bottom left, as the orange Protoss team, it is Bahadur and Aegon.
Actually, I think I remember Bahadur. He played in the first half of the CSL. That name sounds very familiar to me. In the other side of the map, their opponents, Purple and Zerg, it's the Archon Cerebrich of Blast and Fractal.
Well, a ZVP on Dusk Towers usually goes very long, but the last time we saw this in the CSL, it actually ended up pretty abruptly with a simple all-in from the Zerg player. I think that would be the best move for Fractal and Blast, to be honest, but maybe they have great confidence in their ZVP.
Protoss can go a couple of different ways from what we've seen, both in the pro and the amateur circuit, and I am curious to see just how it goes here. Again, just a quick reminder to everybody, if the Protoss team wins here, it's all over. It'll be 3-1, and unfortunately Central Florida will walk away defeated. But again, the edge goes to Zerg a little bit. We've seen the power of lurkers. We've seen how a lot of times Protoss players will have the right composition, but either leave out detection or have it picked off easily. And unfortunately, lurkers are one of these units in the game where you ignore them for just a second and you lose like a quarter of your army.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe it doesn't even get to that point. Maybe it goes the other direction. Mutalisk swaps and transitions. Because everyone's going Immortals and Adepts and Sentries, we see a lot of Muta play because there's nothing to shoot up. So again, another situation where I think the Zerg has maybe a bit of an advantage. It all depends really on how the Protoss plays here. And I think Zerg in the past, you would argue, was completely reactionary. They kind of get to pick the decisions nowadays.
Yeah, that's certainly true in my eyes. The Protoss players really lost out on their 2 base all-ins, which was a big reason as to why they were forcing the game to go their way. It was just Zerg reacting to whatever they scouted. But the power of the 2 base all-in has fallen for Protoss. They can still happen, but they depend far larger on not being scouted than Heart of the Swarm was. And they just, I don't know, they don't do as much. Especially on Dusk Towers, which is usually the Protoss's only hope for a macro game. Of course, in this, the way that they do this best of 5, it's obviously a little bit different, as these guys are coming out just for this, but yeah, you know. Oh, that Ling dies.
First blood.
Fractal and Blast, they could have gone away with a bit more greed here. They do decide to go for the Ling speed off of 2 base, which means they could get, well, drops, first of all, with an Evolution Chamber, but also a surround on the 3rd base on the Nexus, and cancel at least once or twice.
I just found a great new use for our Ace Gun check mode.
Oh, yeah?
That's it. I'm gonna pistol whip someone in chat who wants it. Sugar says base rate TV do it, so I'm gonna time out Sugar, then time him out right away.
A pistol whip is now a timeout?
Slapped him right out of chat.
That's an abuse of power. Abuse!
What's that?
There's the first Overlord drop, but it's not really that effective if it's only one.
Well, it's another way in. So if there's a distraction at the front, and the Protoss have all their adepts, the Mothership Core, everything watching these front gates, a couple of links can get work done. Keep in mind, it's Archon mode, so it's not like you're just unloading them and forgetting them. You're actually going to get to have one player focus on this area while the other focuses on the front attack, and that seems to be the case. So front attack does commence. Overlord's a little bit late to the party, so not sure if this distraction is going to wear off too soon. Because along with 2 players, there should be 2 sets of eyes watching for this, and there's that probe pull.
Yeah, it was pretty instant. Gonna take some adepts from the front. There's still 2. Actually, should I not take adepts from the front? They do need to take 1 or 2, though.
The Phoenix do pick off the Overlord, so there won't be further drops, but these Lings are getting away with significantly more than they should be able to. And at this point, maybe less than probes, just try and get a surround on that pylon from both ends. Knock it down and walk right through, but the Overcharge wearing off in a second. There's another one available, I think. Actually, there's like 2 more available, so this isn't too problematic, but
Yep.
10 probe kills is quite nice, while Purple Zerg team puts it into 3rd base down.
Yeah. That could have gone better for Protoss if they had either the Adept... Well, actually, the Adepts are have to clog up this wall. So the Adepts here and the Mothership over here with the pylon, this would have been no problem whatsoever. In fact, the lack of a pylon is kind of noteworthy. I think Protosses are all around doing it now.
The double stacking of defense, I think I would have understood more if there was something like Roaches or Ravagers outside the doorstep. But it was just Lings, so Mothership Core definitely could have prevented those probe kills.
So that was fairly committed from Fractal and Blast. I mean, there's a lot of Lings that got a good number of probes, but didn't really skyrocket them ahead. The 3rd base is almost done, but their own drone count's really not that great compared to our Protoss players. Now, the Protoss definitely want to get a 3rd base soon. You'd actually hope to have already gotten one, to be honest, if everything was going, macro, swimmingly, and whatnot. So they're going to throw it down. They're going to need some SimCity to help out as well, however, that's still enough Lings to cancel it if they get a full surround. Okay, they're not gonna...
Not enough Lings anymore.
Not anymore. Phoenixes do go over here, and this is where Archon mode should really highlight the strength, where these Phoenixes should never, ever die to, running over Hydras accidentally, or going over a Spore Crawler for too long. And they're starting to make up those worker losses, already up to 6.
Phoenix can certainly get out of hand if given the opportunity. Hydras are actually questionable as to whether it's a good response or not. We've just seen too often they come out 1 or 2 at a time, the Phoenix pounce, Hydras die, and it takes a while to get them consolidated. Furthermore, while this continues to lose units, there's no creep spread between these bases. So Queens and Hydras alike are going to be a little bit slower from getting location to location to deal with these Phoenix.
The only reason they were picking up more drones, they're running out of energy, so they save it up for the Queen, take her out, and only take some damage on the Phoenix, just a little bit on the hull. But this has been really, really great Phoenix harass, as more than made up for the damage they took from those Lings, and Fractal and Blast are not looking so hot. They are they're starting to lose Hydralisks. If they come out one at a time, they definitely can be picked off. The Phoenix count is still growing. Probably the micro player is shouting to the macro player, hey, these Phoenixes are doing great, keep giving them me more, and that's exactly what the macro player is doing. You can chrono boost them.
I guess as long as these don't die to something silly, they will keep paying for themselves, but you gotta be careful. Even bleeding on 1 or 2 can sometimes be problematic, because you do need that sweet number of 5 if you want to one volley down the Hydras.
A couple of free overlords over here the Phoenixes could go after, but they see such, enticing targets with how much damage they've already done, they're not moving back. That is 15 drones in total, plus a queen or 2, plus Hydralisk. All from the Phoenix. You can see it's starting to really reflect in that supply, where the Zerg player would want to be up like 20 or 30 army supply right now. They're down by 30 army supply and still down in workers. Oh, they're trying to get that worker count back up, but of course affecting their Hydralisk counts. Hydra's trying to catch them, but it's not working. They do have their upgrades, and we have +1 on the way. But the Protoss players could start adding in these other units they've been bulking up back at home. The Adepts that don't have Resonating Glaives. They're going for charge first, but might have been worth to get, especially if they get a War Prism later on. All the Immortals they're getting, and their own upgrades. They should also be going up to probably 2 Robos, maybe before that Templar Archives, but either way, they're in such a demanding position, that's a commanding position, that it doesn't matter.
You're demanding victory as you are in a commanding position, so you wouldn't be wrong.
It's true.
Well, the Hydra's obviously not dealing with this too well, and the problem is he's going to have to turn several of these very important anti-air units into anti-ground units, with the Lurker Den completing. I will say this for Team Protoss. They're not exactly going for the best anti-Lurker composition back at home. A couple of Archons added in is nice, but the Immortal count is kind of low compared to like the 10 or 12 you'd really, really want to see. No double robo production behind this.
Yeah, that's something I could critique them on. Double robo before Templar Archives, but they are getting the right composition. They're even adding in Resonating Glaives, even though it came in after charge. And this is what we're seeing pro gamers do. Just a little bit out of order, just a little bit, more, obviously.
You're out of order!
No. Protoss is, though.
Handle the truth.
So they do have a good enough army to probably push ahead and win, to be honest, up 30 army supply. If they got a concave around the Lurkers, I would actually feel quite confident for them. But Lurkers are tough to deal with. Taking a 4th base, getting Storm, all of that should be something that they do before and ensure their victory with all of that. They can risk being too passive, with an Infestation Pit on the way. They don't want to be caught off guard by Broodlords, for instance, but that would have to have a Spire first, which we don't see. And if they go for Ultras, then that ain't gonna go so well.
I can't believe you just ignored me. That was quite rude.
I mean...
I'm sorry. I thought this was America, where we had freedom of speech.
No.
Whatever.
No,
Actually,
it's Canada.
Yeah, so... Damn it.
Get wrecked.
I thought this was the internet, where we have freedom of speech.
Oh, Jesus. That is a big warp in. These charge odds can take on anything. They actually go straight towards the hatchery, which is a little questionable. There were units that just popped out.
If this was like the 3rd or the natural, I could kind of get behind that idea, but the main's going to be mined out. Now, the main army does take a good fight to the south, knocks out a base with no opposition because all the Hydras are in the main. But as the Protoss army continues to march forward, those Hydras are still in the main zombie grub. They might just get force-fielded in. There is no Ravagers to break this. Team Zerg.
Nope.
Blast and Fractal. Frack Blast.
I think that's it for them. I think that's it for University of Central Florida. And that will...
If I just say they won, can we count it as a win?
No, I don't think we can do that.
But it's our hell, it's about time guy, man. I want him to win.
I know. It's my CSN buddy, but... No. That's not how this works.
Protoss did play this well, so I can't even complain. Well done, well played.
Of course, sticking into the last, as it is their last game for their team. when they lose it. We do have our Protoss players, though, already advancing towards the last late game tech they can get, which is those Tempests. Still don't have Storm, which I think they should get, but, I mean, they do whatever they want. Don't tell me what to do. Got that Warp Prism,
well,
there you go.
If the lurkers were numerous enough, maybe this chokes it out and it gets crazy, but the problem is there's still production behind it. There's still 5 bases on the other side of the map. And looks like that prediction in chat was true, and unfortunately Central Florida will not defeat regular Florida. Not today, at least.
Not today.
They are fighting to their last. The last base now under siege. The Spinecrawler does not help in this situation, and GG is called.
GG! So that's going to end it out. We're going to go into our next best of 5, which is going to be, hold on a minute, UT Austin versus UT Arlington. And since that usually takes a little time, as it's not quite 11 o'clock yet, so they all might be trickling in still, and of course, you know, they got everyone in order and whatnot. We are going to head to a break. We thank you all for watching the CSL, and we hope you continue to do so. See you in a little bit.
Bye.
Tensions rise, they push me to divert my vision, but I will break the ceiling and the walls that kept me in for all this time, and all the reasons that I cannot find. Don't wait for me to fall under that pressure. Don't wait for to give it up. Well, I will me to the shore. I've got my sights on a brand new beginning. A steady rhythm will hold me to the shore.